All right. So, guys, remember I mentioned a very interesting Instagram story? Or it wasn't even a story. It was a post. Yeah. A full-blown post. That was one that was posted by Aisha a few weeks ago now, right?
It was a few weeks ago.
Yeah. So after reading that post, I was very intrigued by your story and what you had to say on the topic of body image and whatnot. So do you want to read that post for us?
You want me to read the whole thing?
If you wouldn't mind.
Okay.
Faye is such a funny person. We literally had this conversation before this, and Laura was like, yeah, I don't want to.
No, she never give me a definitive
I'll
yes
read
or
it.
no.
You know, if you ask someone to do something and they're like, like they don't want to do it.
Okay.
Well, go ahead. If you have it, you can read it.
I have it here. Yeah. Okay. For all of those on their weight and health journey, something that needs to be shared as a Black woman. Those who know me know that I have struggled with body dysmorphia for many years, even after all the weight loss. Having medical professionals judging me simply based on a number on a BMI chart only perpetuated my body dysmorphia more. 4 years ago, I embarked on a weight loss journey for myself. 4 years later, and many pounds lighter, I have learned to love food and fitness in a way that is not detrimental to my health, both mentally and physically. But all of my efforts seemed futile whenever I would go to my yearly physical. Post-weight loss, my medical chart had a clinical diagnosis of obese. I think health is encompassing and takes no shape or size. My body goal is whatever will make me feel confident. I'm writing this post for all Black women who have been ashamed to see their doctor in fears of being categorized based on European standards. I'm a Black woman of average height with curves and short legs. My number will never equate to what is prescribed on a BMI chart. So please, as Black women, we must advocate for our health. Our body type should not be based on European white standards because our ancestry originates in Africa. We should implore alternatives to judge healthy versus unhealthy and accurately diagnosing those individuals appropriately.
That's so beautiful. Thank you for reading that. I hope everybody that just heard that understands why I wanted her to read it. Because I don't think you could really give a highlight of that. I think every single sentence in that post meant something, was meaningful. I think it should be dissected appropriately, and I think they needed the appropriate context. Okay, Dolapo?
Now
that I'm reading the back, that was pretty good writing.
Yeah, like, girl, you did good. You did good.
I should do this more often.
You did good. Commas in the right spot. It was real good. But I think we might as well start with like the backstory. You know, you said 4 years ago is when you embarked on your journey.
Yeah, so Dolapo grew up with me. So 4 years ago, I just woke up one day and like I took a selfie in the mirror, which I never did. And I was like, ew. Like, what is this picture? Like, I just felt gross. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh, you know what? Let me just do a challenge just for fun. I love challenges. I have, like, an obsessive personality. So I'll do a challenge. I'll do it. And then next thing I know, like, I started doing, like, random P90X videos in the house. And I started losing weight. And, like, I started, like, eating different things I never thought I would eat. And I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. And once I saw the weight loss, I was like, wow, this is kind of great. I didn't intend to, like, lose this much weight. But hey, I'll do it. I'll take it. And then it just started from there. And I love it. But along the way, there has been struggles, as you said. So it took me a while to realize that I had body dysmorphia. Because even as
Can I pause you? Sorry. I hate to interrupt.
Yeah.
Can you say what body dysmorphia is?
Yeah, for sure. Let me give you official Yeah, because I'm not a psychologist by any means.
This is Dolapo's favorite. He loves definition. The D in Dolapo is for definition.
Every time I'm like, this guy
goes up to dictionary.com real quick.
Okay, so the flaw may be minor or imagined, but the person may spend hours on a day trying to fix it. The person may try many cosmetic procedures or exercise to excess. It's the way they see themselves. It's not how society sees them. Right. So it doesn't matter how many compliments you get. Doesn't matter how many before and after pictures. Whenever you look at yourself, you're like, I'm not good enough. I don't look good enough. I'm not to this standard. I need to achieve this standard. And you're always going to try to achieve it.
Right.
So that's what that was. And I guess I didn't realize that until like the past year and a half, because I would be like, I just need to like lose 20 more pounds, just 20 more pounds. And they're like, from where? Are you going to cut off a limb? Like,
I was going to say 20 pounds is not like chump change. It's not.
They're like, are you going to cut off a limb? I'm like, no, you guys, like, I just don't. They're like, I think you should. I think you, like, there's something seriously, like, not okay. Like, you look fine. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I know. But, like, I think I should just, like, go a little harder at the gym. Like, let me cut some things out. And I think that's when I realized, and I saw that Instagram post, and I got triggered. And I was like, oh, my God. Like, I think that's what it is. Like, I've been on this journey for a while now. It's just, like, trying to shift my image and, like, the way I look at health and fitness in in a whole different way, for sure. So I was so receptive. Like, I was so happy about the reception I got from that post because I didn't even see it as a big deal. They're like, oh my God, like, I didn't know this. Like, this is so great that you're sharing this information. Yeah. And I was like, well, yeah, I just feel like as Black women, especially with curves and like we just come in all different shapes and sizes, I'm tired of people trying to put us in a box and say that we should look as different, like a certain way. And like if we're too big, we're too small, we don't have enough hips. And that really can affect someone who's not mentally strong.
Yeah, because the thing is, I don't want to say that every girl I've ever told, oh my God, you look perfect, you look great, you look awesome, has body dysmorphia. That's not what I'm saying. But there is like credence to the idea that you're not seeing what everybody else is seeing because you're so fixated on an imaginary like body shape that you don't know how it would look on you. You're like, you literally have no idea how that would translate to your body type. Exactly. But you're creating a goal based upon imagination. And so how can that work?
To bring up with that goal thing is that a lot of times the images of what you think it would look like are like your goals are not real goals, right? Like you're looking at TV, like you don't know what they've done for you to see that final image.
Yeah.
So that is a good point because when I started, I'm like, every girl, I want to look like Beyonce did in that GQ cover, or like I don't know. I feel like I don't know from a male perspective, but I know like some men are like, I want to look like this person, like I need this physique, and like you're right, you don't know how that shape's gonna look at you. You don't even know if that shape's attainable for your body type. Exactly. So I think that's such an unhealthy thing to just be fixated. So for me, I look at health as to whatever makes you feel confident. So that's just how I'm just like, whatever makes you feel confident, then that's what it should be. It shouldn't be I need a 6. Like I don't need any of that. Like it's totally fine. And like and I realized that because the weight I am now. So when I first embarked on my journey, you remember, like everyone called me a bobblehead. Like I like did strictly cardio. I cut out all this food. I was like super skinny. That number on the scale and the number now are exactly the same.
Really?
Wow. Exactly the same.
Guys, I've been trying to say this for you.
Wow.
It's so, and you would never guess, but that's because like I started educating myself on like eating the right things, certain workouts. Like obviously like I'm gaining muscle and all that stuff, but you can't cut things out for the rest of your life. That's not attainable.
It's not sustainable.
It's not. So once you do cut it out and then you want to introduce it, that's why you gain all the way back. So I'm all about like, you can indulge. You want a cookie? Have a damn cookie. Yeah. Like, it's not going to kill you. Like, if you want to do certain things. So, I don't know. That's how I figured it out. And I just can't. And social media, I know you guys had an episode like last season. Yeah. Well, I totally mess with your mental as far as like that whole picture thing. But yeah, it can. Health is all subjective.
And I know body dysmorphia is something that follows many people for like eternity, honestly. Yeah. Like, so for you, do you think it's something that's like in your rear view window, or do you think it's something you're still dealing with now?
All the time. Like now I try actively to be very self-conscious and self-aware.
No, you're working on your arms, right? Lara does not have the arms
I do.
She's always like showing off arms.
I am not showing off arms. I can't find sleeves because like it's too tight on my arms and stuff.
Look at that humble flex. It's too tight on my sleeves.
I lose fat faster in my upper body, so that's just why it looks this way. Can't help it. Okay. But it's always in my peripheral because we're humans, so you're always going to compare yourself to the next person. So, but then in my head, I'm just like, am I happy with the way I look? Yeah. Am I confident with the way I look? Yeah. Am I taking healthy strides to try to achieve that? Yeah. So those questions, it's not always yes every single day. So I do have to work on that for sure. It's not always going to be a yes answer, but if you keep asking, whenever you feel that way, you ask yourself the questions, you need to figure out a way to make them yes.
I feel you, because it's not always going to be like yes, like you said, but how do you get it to a point where it is always yes? Like maybe I did gain an extra 5 pounds over the last 2 months and I'm not exactly at my goal weight, but I'm happy.
Validation from others. That's what you have to do. At the end of the day, you're the one living in your body. You got to do what's best for you. Right. And I know it's like always this, and you have to stop that stigma where like bigger or fat, which I even hate saying. Like I hate going to someone and being like, oh my God, you're so skinny. It's like, you don't even know what's going on in their head. Like what is skinny? Like they probably are trying to gain weight. So like, in my head, I'm just like...
Yep, I like that.
Yeah, it's, you really... Because it's like, you can't equate what that number is to health. So someone might be bigger, but like, they might be in great shape. Their cardio health might be great. Exactly. They might have normal blood pressure. Definitely. They might not have diabetes. So you have to then remove that. So that's how I come from that. Me being from a health background, now I'm just like, okay, so people have different shapes and sizes. Are you healthy? Are you confident in what you're doing? You don't have diabetes? Okay, great. You're in cardio health. Like, that's great. You don't have high blood pressure.
No high cholesterol.
No high cholesterol. Like, all those things are great for you. So there's no need for you to then be slaving away for what? Like, what are you trying to achieve at the end of the day?
I love that you said stop seeking validation from other people,
so
because
important.
I think that's really where it comes from. Because like you said, if you're healthy, you're thriving, like 2 days ago you felt confident, and just because you gained a pound today, you don't feel confident, that can't come from like just your own psyche, because that 1 pound did not add blood pressure and hypertension and whatever. Like that 1 pound did not completely change the way you look when you took that picture. So that 1 pound is coming from something else.
Exactly.
Like it's a psychology that's coming from other people's validation.
And you have to train yourself, and it's really hard because, like you said, we're all humans. Everyone likes to be told they're pretty or told or whatever. But if no one else is gonna tell you, I mean, it should be good enough hearing it from yourself. So that is true. That is true.
I look in the mirror every day. I'm like, damn.
Don't be telling me that. I know. I hate hanging out with them. Literally, no one has to even compliment his outfit. He's like, don't I look nice? I'm like, what are you doing? Like, how's he exuding all this confidence? Like, literally, he just exudes all this confidence everywhere he goes.
I mean, I think we're all human beings, right? Like you said, we all have our good and bad days, but you work to make sure you have way more good days and as little bad days as possible. I do think another angle that's important though, or interesting, is being African. How does that contribute to your body? Like how you perceive yourself? Because I know growing up in an African household, like there's no like, oh, let's be sensitive. This person is fat, but that's not like, oh, you're fat. Like if you're the fat person in the house, everyone that comes to your house is going to tell you you're fat. I go to ask you,
what have you been eating? Oh my God.
Literally, that was my entire childhood. Not for my parents per se, but like whenever like uncles would come to like, Lara, like, you're fat. Like, they'll be mad concerned. Like, you're so, I remember like when I was 10 one time, my uncle was like, why are you so fat? And I was
No,
but it's really like for anybody that's listening that's not African, this is legitimately what it is.
And I was like, why am I so fat? I was like, I'm like fat. Like I just like to, I was like,
you didn't even know you were fat.
I didn't know I was fat. And like literally, I was like holding a Pop-Tart about to go to. And he was there. I was just like, who's this stupid guy calling me fat? Like I was because
so a lot of times they themselves are not like the picture of like health and fitness. Like, why are you not coming from me? Exactly.
So we saw them fat, and I would be so upset. I was like, wow. It's like even when I was like younger, like in middle school, I would do like these crazy dumb diets, and I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna eat this or that. It lasts like all of a week, but like I would see myself like doing all these dumb things, and like Africans would be telling you they're blunt, which is fine, and people are like, oh, that makes you have tough skin. No, it doesn't. It doesn't make you.
You internalize
Let me tell you,
your own
it doesn't
issue.
Make you have tough skin. You be internalizing that stuff, and then once you're older in your 20s, you be looking in the mirror and you be like, oh my goodness, like
I am fat.
I am fat. I am ugly.
But let me raise this question though, because I don't know if this is a stereotype. I'm sure it is a stereotype, but I feel like there's a stereotype of like the families that don't necessarily say that, hey, you're fat. Like, they don't call it out, and people grow up just like, yeah, everyone in my family is fat. Like, I never felt like I was fat. And no, I mean, again, I guess it's kind of to the point where we're saying maybe fat is not a bad thing, but I would still look at them and be like, damn, I wish somebody would have told you that you're fat, so maybe you would at least be aware almost. Like, do you think that there's any credence to that? Or am I just, am I feeding into that whole mentality of like, telling them they're fat when they're
That's an interesting point.
That is interesting.
Because if you think of like a lot of like again, not to be stereotypical, but like a lot of like, let's say black families from the South where like they eat like the most greasy food, like it's just like in the family, right? Like it's a thing that like a lot of,
you know, like, what I think
culturally that's what is normal. And if they go up everyone being fat, nobody's calling anyone else fat because they're all fat together. Like you don't feel fat because the next person is fat. Like everyone is fat. Like, do you think that there is a point of like, hey, we need to? Maybe it's just how we say it.
That's why. So then, the way you're describing, you're then equating fat. Are you saying you're fat? So in terms, you're unhealthy, or you're fat, and then in terms, you're not beautiful?
No, I'm not thinking about beautiful. I'm
unhealthy. Okay,
I'm thinking about you're fat, you're unhealthy. Like all those things you just said, like diabetes, like all these things that we know that like black people actually have a higher rate of, right? So, like all those things where it's like, oh, like how do we find that line between
this
being
is a tricky
fat
one.
Or like, loving yourself how you are, but then also being healthy. Like we don't want you to be, maybe I shouldn't say fat, but we don't want you to be unhealthy and love your unhealthy stuff.
You know why I think it's tricky? It's because I feel like a lot of times, like when these uncles or whomever are saying it, I don't think they're saying it from a point of, I want you to be healthy.
They don't.
If I'm being absolutely honest, because like I just mentioned, a lot of them aren't the picture of fitness and like they eat only greens and whatever.
All the time, drink fitness all the time with the big bellies.
So it's not coming from that place. A lot of times.
No, not that.
I mean, you're right. The aunties too, but.
The aunties be doing the things like, the tailor said. Yeah. And I'm like, the tailor said what? That's what the aunties be doing.
So for me, it's like, what are the intentions with what you're saying? And it's fair enough if you're like, okay, like, girl, I'm just letting you know, like, in case nobody else has, this is what I'm seeing. I guess I get that, but I also think there's they're the right people in your life to do that. You know what I mean? Like, if it's coming from my sister, that's 100% different than it's coming from an uncle.
Yeah.
An uncle that I know his intentions are a lot different than my sister's. You know what I mean? Like, because even if there's an element of like cosmetics to it or whatever, it's usually paired with actual.
Because they're saying it from the whole like, from the aesthetic standpoint. Yeah. Like, you're like, you need to look better or whatever.
Right,
you're not. So, and it's so interesting. So I try, like I said, I'm not all about like cutting food out. So when you said about like soul food, all the greasy stuff, you can enjoy that stuff and just like replace some of the stuff. Like we don't need pork, but like you don't need to use like all that lard or like shortening. Like they're literally, that's like what I pride myself in. Like I still like to eat really good food. I just find alternatives for it and it still tastes good. So you can always do that because at the end of the day, I think health is more important. So yeah, you can have a bigger physique. That's fine. I'm not going to knock you for that. But like, are you about to drop dead at 40 because you didn't realize that all the shit you've been eating has been like, just been... Right. So you just got to... I think it's an even balance. But from an African standpoint, no, they definitely only told you that to put you down. I don't even think they realized they were putting you down, but I was just like...
Well, they think it's tough love and they're helping you out. Okay, for me, like, this goes back to the last episode where we were talking about, like, how our parents might do things without realizing that it has like trickle down effects, like down the line, like with the latchkid kids or whatever. I'm like, I think in this case, it's maybe they're trying to do it like, oh, I need you to find a husband later, or like I need you. You know what I mean? They have like foresight into other things that they're worried about for you in the future, and for them, it's like, okay, I'm worried about this for you now because it's gonna have trickle down effects, and I don't, but they don't realize the trauma, to use last week's terminology, and the like excess baggage it's coming with. And they just don't have that sensitivity chip. You know what I mean? Like. And I don't know, I got what you were saying before. It's like, if they don't say it to you, who is going to? Like, if the uncle doesn't say it to you and your nucleus isn't saying it to you, then who is going to say it to you? Because sometimes you do need that person to, like...
And I do. I was going to say, you do need someone, like, you do, like, we don't always have to be, like, stroking that line, like, oh, I don't want to hurt you. Like, you do. But there is a way you can, like, tell them in an effective way and get the message across.
So what do you think that way is? Because I feel like for someone like you who has, like, had whatever issues in the past with your weight... How would you have appreciated that conversation?
Right, because you sound like you didn't like the way that it was delivered, right? Like, of course, it turned out to be quote unquote effective because you're here now, let's say. But if you could change it,
because it doesn't always come from self alone, right? Like that needs to change. So, what do you think?
I mean, just don't. I just think it's so aggressive and rude to be like. Phrases of why are you fat? Like at that point, I'm feeling attacked. At that point, it's like. First of all, then maybe I didn't realize I was fat. And now you're like putting something in my head because I was like, I think I'm fine. I go to like, no one's complaining anything. And then you're asking me a question, you need an answer. I don't have that answer. Why am I fat? Yeah. I don't know. Like my parents feed me. Like, I think posing it as a question, it's like, I think you should just come up to someone like, oh, like, are you happy with yourself?
And I think sometimes it's good to bring up, to encourage, especially in kids, it's better to encourage solutions as opposed to disparaging them. Like the more, like if you have a kid that you think is fat, like get them more into sports. Like
that's what I was going to say.
You don't necessarily have to tell them like, hey, we're doing this to lose weight. But if they really like a sport, like just help them play it more.
Yeah. Like, oh, hey, like my son Tolu is in basketball. Like, would you be interested in joining? Like something like that. Yeah. I do think that there's credence to the idea of like, you don't always have to do like the tippy toe thing because sometimes that's not effective. Like it comes off more condescending than not. But maybe it's just a matter of knowing who you're working with. Because some people can hear like, why are you fat, and only take what they need out of that and not bring the extra baggage in with them, right? And some people, it literally shatters their whole world. Yeah. So maybe take the time to realize the person you're speaking with and like engage with them appropriately from there. Yeah. Like some people, you just can't. Just don't do it. Like, it's not going to help anything. It's just going to make them feel bad, make them indulge more in whatever unhealthy behaviors they might partake in. Yeah. And just like what you're saying is not helping in the least. And then just, you know, remove yourself from that equation. Maybe talk to somebody else within their family. I don't know. There's no one size fits all.
Of course. No, everyone is different. Which I think you saying that you have to know who you're talking to is the biggest thing. Like, you have to know who you're dealing with.
But like growing up, did you guys ever like, let me hear from like a male perspective. Like, did anyone ever tell you?
Like growing up, I remember
fat. His big, he wasn't.
When I started to become fat, like in college, like definitely people told me I was gaining weight. Like I feel like that was the first, like, you know, if someone hasn't seen in a long time, literally. Like,
first comment.
Was like, oh wow, you're getting bigger, and I still deal with it now. Mm-hmm. I know that I was definitely more sensitive to it a couple years ago, where I was like, damn, like, can I breathe? Like, literally, I'm chilling. Yeah. Like, I'm okay with myself. Like, literally. Like,
so that's the important thing.
What is important.
I'm a person that, like, I probably have the opposite of body dysmorphia. Like, when I look in the mirror, I'm like, oh, I can see a six-pack coming in. So when I'm, like, just chilling, someone randomly just rocks my words, like, getting fat. I'm like, yo, like, I think I'm losing weight. Like, what do you mean? So, but I just learned to deal with it by myself. I know that I've been the skinny person, so it's not like, oh, I've never been skinny. I know that I don't want to be skinny, and ultimately, I'm fine with how I look. Like, of course, like you said, I work towards looking better, looking more like, oh, I would be more comfortable, I would feel better, but I don't let that, like, I know that's not what I offer. You know what I mean? Like, I know, like, if I listed my attributes, like, my body's not going to be, like, my top 2 or 3 things. So it's like, okay, like, let me work on my top 2 or 3 things. Like, this is not what I'm selling. So,
no, for me, I've actually had the opposite of, like, you're looking a bit skinny, whatever. But for me, I'm much like you were, if I'm okay, the one thing I will say is I'm like a weakling. Like, I can't, bro, I'm so weak. It's a problem. And that for me, it's like, I know that personally, and that's where I would want to change, like, my strength. But when people say, exactly, as opposed to how I look. So I've been fortunate in that regard. And I feel like it's almost unfortunate. That's not the right word. I just don't like being the bystander of seeing other people. Like, for instance, my sister doesn't have the same body type as me, right? Mm-hmm. So I've heard her get the opposite. Like, for me, I get, oh, you might be a little skinny, whatever. For her, I've heard the opposite. And I feel so annoyed. Like, it almost irritates me more than it irritates her. Because I'm like, literally, this girl to me is as perfect as it can get. You know what I mean? Like, there's absolutely nothing wrong with her. And so for me, I hate, obviously I'm not the victim of the situation, but I hate being the person that it seems like she'll look at me and be like, oh, it's not fair. Like, why are you the family member that has the, like, genes that doesn't? And I'm like, I hate that for her. Like, it just pisses me off because there's no one size fits all, like we already mentioned. Really is not. And like, she goes to the gym more than I do. She works at a gym. Like, you know what I mean?
That's like, why I always try to grade people. Like, you can't just look at someone and just be like, why are you this? So, like, no, like, people literally are going to come in all different shapes and sizes. You can't just go based on that. And that's why I just held on that, like, you can look this way. I'm just like, just don't eat crappy stuff. Like, I have one girlfriend, she's like, oh my God, I need to lose all this weight, blah blah, I'm doing all this stuff. I'm like, girl, you look fine, but I do need you to stop going to Chick-fil-A every day.
Every day, yeah.
Every day.
Introduce a vegetable or two into your diet. Like, broccoli isn't the devil.
Every single day. I'm like, girl, you're not afraid of, like, blood? Like, do you know your family history? Like, for me, blood pressure and diabetes runs my family. So, like, I don't eat that much salt. It does. So, like, I don't eat that much salt. Like, I don't have we were talking about sweet tooth. I don't have a sweet tooth. Like, I don't even be. I don't like chocolate. Yeah.
I like chocolate too.
You like chocolate?
I like an occasional brownie. Right? But you're right. I'm not a huge sweet tooth person. But like, it's understandable if other people are. Yeah.
A brownie 3 times a day, 7 days a week. Yeah. It's all in moderation. And it all comes back to however you feel. If you feel good about yourself and like how you look, it's fine. But you need to start, like, I think the main thing is like, stop seeking validation from everyone else. When you want validation from everyone else, it's sickening. It's so sickening. It's so detrimental. And I think that's what happens.
Honestly, you never get it.
You will. And I think that's what, like, happened to me back then.
There's always going to be somebody.
Oh, wow. Like, everyone was like, oh, you look so great, all this stuff. And I was like, oh, I just don't look good enough. Because, like, you always meet that one person that will look into, like, I think you can, like you said,
everyone's taste is different.
Yeah.
So you trying to be skinny, like my people are like, oh, like why are you like you're too skinny?
You're too.
Like,
that's my point. Yeah, like that's literally.
Oh, sorry.
No. I hate being the girl that's like, oh, but it's true. Like it's like. The skinny ones have it too, like, but it's not fair.
I mean,
really, like now you can, but like that's why I would never go up to someone like, "Why are you so?" Like, no, that I think that's offensive.
Yeah.
I would never
and from the
go
point
that.
of why you're so skinny. Probably just kind of wrap up a little bit. Is sometimes we, as much as we try not to, we still do think of like the skinnier, the healthier.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I had a friend that posted pictures online. She was like heavier set, but she like lost weight. And I like talked to her, and I literally one of my first comments I was gonna make was like, "Oh my god, you lost so much weight. You look so good." But then a couple minutes later, she explains to me that she was actually sick, which I didn't have to ask her, "Is that why you lost weight?" Like it just did.
It just came up. Yeah.
She lost weight because she was sick. I'm like, if I told her she was skinny, I don't think she would have liked. You know what I mean? Like, it wouldn't be a thing that would make her feel good.
This goes back to an Adele post not that long ago where everybody was like praising her, and the other people that have a little bit more foresight when it comes to this conversation are like, maybe we shouldn't just jump to like, this is amazing and exactly what she wanted. You don't know what got her to that point. Maybe it was all healthy means and like the right thing for her, but maybe it wasn't. And that's part of the issue when people assume skinnier means healthier and better.
That's
like,
why I always say my whole thing is like healthy versus unhealthy. Like it has nothing to do with your physique. It's like healthy versus unhealthy. Exactly. So that's how I approach everything.
Yeah. I agree with you.
No, but before we fully wrap up, I do want you to talk a little bit more about your like lifestyle changes and like what that's meant for your life, like overall.
Oh yeah, so I just love cooking. That's like my thing. I like eating. I hate saying healthy, but like I like
Meals by Aisha. Is that what you just said?
No.
Oh, guys, if you don't know, she has an Instagram page. It's brand new, brand spanking. You'll be the first person to follow. I'm the third or fourth or fifth or sixth client.
I just followed.
So, Meals by Aisha to, meal prep for you.
I will. I like to encourage you guys to like just find food you like to eat, but then healthy twist to it.
Yeah.
So it's fun. You can enjoy it.
So what are you going to do for my yam and corned beef stew? What are you going to substitute? Because I can't substitute my yam.
Okay, substitute.
Is yam really that bad? Oh my goodness.
Yam's not bad.
It's not bad in moderation. I might just give you some sweet potatoes. Or something.
I
always do sweet potatoes.
Don't worry, we'll talk offline.
We'll talk, yeah. I got something good for you for next week.
But either way, like your lifestyle changes personally have manifested into like paying it forward, helping other people.
Oh, I love it. Like if anyone needs any advice or anything, like I love just giving advice about that. And that, like I said, it's all about moderation. You can. Everyone's like, "Oh, what did you cut out?" Blah blah. I'm like, I didn't really cut anything. I mean, I don't eat dairy, but that's just like a personal choice. But I'm not vegan. Everyone thinks I'm vegan. Like that's always a big misconception. People are like, "Are you vegan?" No. Like I like chicken. I like fish.
I will not make no meat. You not eat the food in the house. You go to the stew and collect the meat. I'm like, whoa, no meat if you don't eat it.
I love protein. So like, no, I'm not vegan, but I do just like finding, and I think the main thing, that's why I like meal prepping, is just portion sizes. Here in the US, we just be having grandiose portions for no reason. So yeah, if you want,
like you've seen that Cheesecake Factory plate, that shit is not. That's not normal. One person should not be eating all that food at Cheesecake Factory. So yeah, our portions need to get fixed for damn sure in this country. But yeah, how about fitness? You be in the gym?
I am. I work out 6 days a week.
6
No one
days
needs to do that though.
week.
That's
insanity. I'm
still working through.
I'm working up to 1 day a week.
I do. So I mean, sometimes it's like 5 to 6, but never less than 5. But I like it. I enjoy it. So that's So I do work out. You guys can work out with me if you want. I'll give you little tips. I told you I'll make circuits for you. I love making circuits.
I don't know why you're talking to me. Talk to her.
I need to work on my strength.
We can do
you help him with his meal prepping, and you help me with my strength training.
We can do some weights. Yeah, I love it.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. Not like I'm saying, like lifting weights, not losing weights.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Girl, that's my point. I need to work my way up to that. You see, she is an enemy of progress. This is why I haven't gotten to where I need to get to, guys. If you can hear Miriam in the background, she will never support me in this endeavor.
Girl, nah.
Anyway, yeah, we are ready for shout out.
Shout out time. Okay, so first we're gonna a lot of people passed away recently this week.
Yeah.
So we're gonna start off with that. Rest in peace to Zinzi Mandela.
Mm-hmm.
That's Mandela's youngest daughter. She died at the age of 59.
Mm-hmm.
John Lewis, civil rights, activist, and just he did a lot for us.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. Naya Rivera. Last week we talked about they found her. They found her body. Right.
Yeah, but they found her body, and we found out more details, like the fact that she apparently was trying to save her son, and she did fortunately save her son, but in the process, wasn't able to save herself. So that's super unfortunate, super sad. But yeah, she was found on July 13th, and prayers up to her family and everybody else that has passed away this past week.
Yes, and also Kelly Preston. You guys told me to say.
Oh yeah.
Kelly
Let's
Preston,
not forget
she passed
Kelly.
away.
Mm-hmm.
She's secretly battling breast cancer.
Yeah, she's John Travolta's wife. For all of you guys who might not know her by name, but yeah, definitely a fixture in Hollywood. Okay,
yeah. So happier shout outs. I want to shout out these people. I don't know their name or don't be right but I just thought it was really cool. Oti Fagbele or something. We'll type his name in the description.
If you're familiar with Handmaid's Tale, you know this man.
Yes, he's Luke.
That's like character's name. Okay, Luke.
Yeah, so I was watching it and I'm like, who's this Nigerian name that they keep putting? And it's Luke. Luke is Nigerian. But I'm shouting him out not just because, of course, he's on the show. He's doing a good job. Shout out to him. But shout out to, his parents, low-key, because all his siblings are doing a good job. So his siblings, he has a sister that's in the WNBA. Mm-hmm. He has a brother that is also an actor that has a new show coming out soon called Max, 2 X's. Mm-hmm. And he has a brother that's a video director, music video. He's done videos for, Wizkid. A lot of the Migos videos. We talked about Migos. Oh, we didn't. We didn't talk about that.
Oh, yeah, we didn't talk about it.
He did a lot of Migos videos.
We talked about them offline.
Yeah, Stormzy, all those people. So, shout out to them for just doing it big.
Yeah, doing it well for Nigerians. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Any other shout outs?
No, I think we can leave it there.
Guys, shout out to Miriam. Today's Miriam's birthday.
Hey, happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
Yeah. So, happy birthday, Miriam.
Yep.
Thank you for all you do. Thank you for listening to us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Shout out to Aisha and Aisha's Instagram. What is it again for the meal prepping?
Oh yeah, Meals by Aisha.
Exactly. So definitely follow that. We'll have it in the description or the show notes. All of that. But yeah, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. This was fun, guys.
Thanks for listening. Follow us everywhere. Bye.